Welcome back to part 3 of the Business Scale Up podcast. We're carrying on our conversation with Bobby Singh as we continue to talk about sales and consultative selling. So we spoke about what it takes to be internally resilient, to be able to handle kind of rejection. One thing that salespeople come across often is gatekeepers and the ability to keep going. Yeah. Just explain to everybody what a gatekeeper is.
Also known as upfront dragons. Somebody told me very recently. Okay. So it's important to note they are just doing their job. So their job is to, minimize, prevent unwanted traffic coming through. And we get inundated, don't we?
All the time.
And we could spend lots of our working day dealing with unwanted calls. So they're doing exactly what's been asked from them. So I think it's a really important point, because otherwise you can take it quite personally.
Yeah.
When I come across a gatekeeper, there's 3 or 4 things that I try and do. So firstly, be nice.
Okay.
Be friendly. Be polite. A please and thank you goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, just on a human level.
Yeah, so that's really important. Try to make some connection. So, ask them questions. Don't dismiss them. Don't make them feel less important. So I try and elevate their position, make them feel important, because that's they are a fountain of knowledge. They have lots of information. They will give you all the gossip, all the information. They'll probably be able to help you lots and lots and tell you who to talk to and all that kind of thing. I think there's also a responsibility for the salesperson to do a bit of research. Is there an initiative that we can name drop? Is there a specific person that we ought to be speaking to? So there's a little bit of work for us to do before we pick up that phone call. And it makes, it does make it easier for the gatekeeper to decide whether they want to signpost you. And be open and transparent as well. Trying to be a bit cagey who you are and why you're ringing. So I just think be open and transparent. So there's lots of things you can do. If that doesn't work, then you sidestep the gatekeeper.
Okay, and how do you sidestep gatekeeper?
Okay, you call very, very early or very, very late.
Ooh, interesting.
So you would suspect the boss might start early and late, and so you might catch them. It may be about reaching out in another way. So can I go to an event that they may be in attendance for? Written communication, and actually handwritten communication. How many letters do we receive? No. So it might stick out. It might stand out. So there's some stuff that you can deal with the upfront dragons.
So the upfront dragon, the gatekeepers, these are people who traditionally are the first port of call. If you want to make an appointment with somebody, you want to speak to somebody, they're the people who are sat at the reception desk, or these people that are answering the phones. So let's just say we've done those things, we've been successful, we've got past that dragon.
Okay, we slay that dragon.
We've slayed the dragon. Okay. What's next?
So we're trying to get an appointment.
It's an appointment, yeah.
So we're trying to get an appointment. The common thing you'll often hear is, we're really busy, which everybody is. So can I contact you when you are less busy? Is there any information that I can send for your record? So maybe something physical, an email, some documentation, some contact details is helpful. Maybe honing that elevator pitch, that 60-second pitch, that if I only had that short window, I've got 60 seconds to kind of tell you about what I want to talk to you about. And then if it's of interest, maybe we can arrange another time, or maybe pose a question that's going to pique their interest.
Okay. So ask them a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things like that, just to kind of get an appointment, get a sit down with.
And would you say the art of persuasion comes in during that appointment then, during that meeting, for example?
Yeah, people are really busy. There's got to be something in it for them. Yeah, it's got to be value. I think this is where you've got, what's the value of having the conversation? Why would they want to spend the assigned amount of time having that conversation? So we've got to showcase the benefits of that conversation. I think it's also actually how we present ourselves. Think about the words. We talked about the ethos and pathos and logos, but also think about how you conduct yourself. I think 38% of your communication comes through the tone.
Right.
So are you talking with? Is there positivity? Are you talking passionately? Is there inflection in your voice? Are you warm, friendly?
Right.
But there's also the kind of body language piece as well, because I think 55% of communication comes through body language, but even on the telephone, body language is really important.
Is that right? Is that why? Because when I'm on the telephone, I have to pace.
Yes.
I can't sit down. I have to walk up and down like an idiot. Is that what that is? Is that I do it because it makes me comfortable, but I've never thought any further past that stage.
So I guess if you're standing, some people think better on their feet. Okay. You can project your voice better. I think you are a bit more energetic. So I'm like yourself. I like to stand up. So I think even on the telephone, standing up, pacing, projects your voice is kind of really powerful.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it. I've also discovered in myself that if I've got a difficult conversation to have on the telephone, I won't pace. I'll sit. I'll recline my chair and I'll kind of sit back and just get really comfy. Just almost not lie down, but and that's why I do that. Presumably, I've never thought past that why I do that, but that's why I do that. Presumably,
I guess there's things you can do. Even like smiling.
Oh, really?
What they teach in context is smile while you dial, because the smile comes across on that voice. So I think whatever you need to do to get yourself comfortable is really important, and attentive and So whatever works. Everybody's different. I know people on the telephone that if there's lots of background noise, they will close their eyes, so they just kind of they limit one of the senses. Their workspace, because they don't want to be clicking their pen or tapping on the keyboard while they're on that telephone. So kind of remove any kind of distraction. So everybody's different.
Telephone's hard. Telesales is another form of sales, I suppose, isn't it? That's a hard road to hoe. That's tricky.
I think particularly it's an unexpected call.
Yeah, nobody likes them.
So they're not in that frame of mind, or they're not even thinking about that widget, are they?
No, that's probably why telesales has really good commission rates. Commission rate on telesales people is phenomenal. It is really tough, and I think let's go back to that statement around key account management. Look how hard it is to win a new customer. Look after your existing ones. Get them to come back. Get them to buy more. Get them to buy something else. Tell other people. So we've gone through all the gatekeeper. We're in our appointment. We've reached the end of our appointment now, but now we get into objections. So we're getting to reasons why this person doesn't want to say yes. What's some good tips from someone in that situation to be able to handle those objections effectively?
Objections are not always a bad thing.
Okay.
Because it suggests that the customer is at least thinking about it. They've actually thought about it. They've engaged in the process. They're starting to think about how this product or service might help or might not help. So that's fine. It is important we deal with these objections because these objections will get in the way for them making a decision. And again, I think this is where this consultative selling approach works. If you've asked all the right questions, if you've listened, it's meant that you've offered your solution that is exactly what the customer says they want and need. You've minimized that objection, haven't you?
Yeah.
So I think this is where this consultative selling approach works. I use, there's a thing called LARC. I listen, I acknowledge, I assess, and then I respond, and then I confirm that they are happy with the resolution. So there's things that you do. I think just making sure the customer feels that they've been listened. You don't want to be saying as a salesperson, you don't need to worry about that. No, if they want to worry about it, the customer wants to worry about it. They don't need you to. So I think acknowledging it is really important, not to dismiss it. Yeah. So I think listen. A tip for a salesperson is list all your common objections. What would you say?
Yeah, and get them out of the way before the raise, presumably.
Yeah, that's it. That could be the elephant in the room. Yeah. But I think having a well-rehearsed response to the objection. is helpful. Yeah.
And then the end of the process, the journey, if you like, that we've taken someone on or been on ourselves, is the all important close. There are different sorts of closes, aren't there?
There is,
depending on the situation.
Yeah.
Talk us through a little bit. What is a close?
Okay. So there are lots of ways of closing. There's a saying, the ABC, always be closing.
Okay.
There's a slight health warning around this, so I'll come back to the health warning in a second. So yeah, you've got your alternative close. Adrian, would you like it in red or would you like it in black?
Okay.
The assumptive close. So Adrian, shall I organise that delivery and it'll come to you for Wednesday? There's the calendar close. Adrian, have you got your calendar to hand? Let's put something in the diary now.
I like that one.
The puppy dog close.
Ooh, I like the sound of it. Tell me.
Where I get you to play with it and enjoy it, and then say, right, now you can't
take it away.
You can't take it away, can you?
Ooh, I like that one.
There's the FOMO, the fear of missing out. Well, you really must buy it. This is only available until Tuesday. Now, particularly the last couple of ones, it feels slightly pressured and uncomfortable. And it depends what that commitment is. If when you go to the shops or you go for food or drink and they say for an extra 50 pence you can go large and all that kind of thing, you say it. Well, you say it involuntarily without much thought or consideration. But let's think about that TV and garage, that thing that you talked about earlier. I don't think you would appreciate that approach, that technique when you're making such a big purchase. So it does feel slightly pressured. You do feel uncomfortable. You're thinking, hang on, we spent all this time building a relationship, and I thought you're supposed to be a friend and advisor and consultant, and now you're putting on the
putting on the hard.
Yeah, putting on the
Yeah.
hard. So just be a bit careful, I think.
As a customer and a salesperson.
Yeah, I think so. And again, you might say to the customer, how do you think we should take this forward? What would you feel comfortable with? There's something called the adjournment close as well, where you say, do you want some time to think about it?
Okay.
Yeah, just don't make the customer feel pressured.
Yeah,
because they might make that purchase, but afterwards, that felt very uncomfortable. You got that sale, but are you going to get another sale? Maybe not.
From a business owner's point of view, then, what are the advantages of having properly trained, well-trained salespeople, as opposed to someone you've just dragged in off the street?
So you've got salespeople that are self-aware, so they know how they're coming across in front of customers. What are they going to do to appeal to a customer? They might do something that's going to tick a customer off. So there's that self-awareness piece. There's the self-management piece. I think salespeople tend to work on their own. They might spend lots of time away. So actually, how can they manage and regulate themselves and get themselves up for it every single day and keep them up for it? So there's this kind of motivation piece. There is that risk that you try and be everything to everyone.
Okay. And
you spread yourself ridiculously thin. So through some of the training that we do, it's around actually qualifying and profiling customers. It's just the customer that we want to be engaging with. So it helps to be a bit more smarter with our time. I think we've said already, it's really important that we understand what the customer wants and needs, so we can develop a real great bank of questions that we can ask them. We can hone our listening skills. How do we present our solution in a persuasive way? How do we handle objections? How do we get some kind of commitment? So I guess at each stage of that process, there are hints and tips and guides and suggestions and there's some good practice,
right?
And which means a salesperson will sell more,
which is only good from business,
which is really important. They'll have more customers. The sell value will increase as well. Okay. Maybe they'll minimize objections. That time you waste, that just you're constantly ringing people up and you're interested and have you thought about it? Have you made a decision? You can minimize some of those things.
So if from a business owner's point of view, if I wanted to train my staff, make sure that they're properly trained and sort of motivated and so on, how would I find you?
So I'm a provider for the Scale Up program.
Okay.
So we've got a few programs on the directory and register, which we can talk to you about. I've got a website. I've got contact details. So website is bsa-training.co.uk. I'm sure I can share my contact details as well. But just pick up the phone, and I'd love to have a conversation. I'd love to kind of talk about this. And if it's right for you, fantastic. If it isn't right for you, that's okay as well.
That about wraps up today's episode. Thanks so much for coming in, Bobby. It's been enlightening. I've learned a lot and I've enjoyed your company. So thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Check Bobby out. You can find he's given his website. Do by all means. I urge you to check him out. That sums us up today. So thanks very much for your time. Much appreciated.